What's going on, guys? I'm Hope Taylor from Afterthought, and I want to talk about using blockchain technology, NFTs, for your next music campaign, for your next music release. Let's do this. All right. You just gotta set this video apart from all the rest of the NFT videos. Nobody should have ever told me about eating food on camera. Like, this is like a fucked up, like, just finding out I have new kinks every day, guys. New kinks every day. So what are NFTs exactly, right? So oversimplify this in every single way, shape, and form. It's basically like a digital certificate of authenticity for digital artwork that includes music and pictures and whatever you can come up with as a creative asset that's digital. You can use an NFT to get yourself money, paid, make your fans happy. It's all cool. Let me break this down for you, all right? NFT is made on blockchain technology, all right? And in particular, you're using Ethereum to be able to mint and make this little piece of digital coin. You're gonna be able to make money by directly selling to your fans, all right? This is gonna, like, I remember back in my Berkeley days of taking the course, like, marketing in the music business. It was a good one, whatever. They were really focused on, running those like Kickstarter, GoFundMe type of deals, and then being able to create these offers that were super special so that way you could make money doing your art by catering to your niche audience, the diehard fans. And with that, I mean, you'd have to do stuff like, making them custom artwork or making them a custom song or putting them in the credit liner notes or your music video or selling them your panties, having specific special one-on-one mukbang sessions. So you're basically buying a feel, buying a vibe with a vibe, my friend. It's just one of those really cool, special things. Like I said, it puts you in an advantage to be able to deliver something super cool and make sure that it's not getting duplicated, replicated behind your back. You're not missing out on those sales and those opportunities. You're not just having to give up all the control to those streaming platforms and then be at their whim whenever the hell you're going to get paid when they decide to calculate all that with their ISRC codes, which basically uses blockchain technology too. It's basically like giving us Spotify and letting people stream and keep and own our shit and have it without fucking Spotify. It's cool. Music is a new thing that is being applied into this market. This has been going on for images for some time and in all the fine artscape, okay? And it's really important because honestly, if we think about this for a second, we're catering to a market of people who take collecting art seriously, right? And that's a different type of fan base. And the thing about it is when you can put something together that holds such value or such esteem for somebody, they're going to pay. They're going to pay for it. And they're going to want to know that they're getting it original. It's cool that now with this tracking and with this encryption and with all of this different capabilities, we can just hand it right over, not worry about it. It's not going to, we're not going to be missing out on money of all of our hard-earned work and respect. You're going to run across a lot of people in life that just have no respect for the arts. They don't give a fuck. They just want what they want. So this is a way to put them in check. Now, who made this just go and blow up? Grimes did it. Blah did it. I'm just being extra gross right now. I hope that you all appreciate this. Kings of Leon are jumping on board. All right, something cool. I want to give a shout out to some of these other YouTubers on here that I actually learned a little blip about. And then we actually have an interview here with Blah. I feel like I'm slaughtering that name. Sorry, dude. He's on LA Blockchain Summit's channel. So I just want to sit here and then share my really cool YouTube finds on this to like expedite your NFT experience while I also eat food like an asshole because we're mukbanging it out. We're going to like mukbang and watch some YouTube videos. So pull up a chair, cram your face with some tasty food, and learn with me. Let's do this. Shout out to LA Blockchain Summit. Shout out to Blah. Shout out to the other guy who's kind of quiet. I don't know his name in particular, but I'll link it all down below. And let's do this. Yeah.
Experiencing with that stuff on like the metaverse, as people like to say.
So,
What's going on with that?
yeah. So I guess there's kind of a long backstory of my wild journey through crypto that I would love to.
I had to pause this real fast. I'm like, dude, homeboy left me an open spot. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna join your shit. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm part of your guys' conversation now. We all be cool like that. Cool like that. Grimy ass wing fingers. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I just had to pause and interject and do that really fast because that's just hilarious to me. I was like, wait a minute. I can be in the discussion as well. Let's do this.
Kind of get through as quickly as possible, but I'm happy to tell it, Adam, if you think I should.
Yeah.
It might take a good couple minutes, but there isn't really one way to. It's not a short one. It's not as simple as Cooper's explanation of an NFT. So the quick version is I met the Winklevoss twins in Mexico on spring break and was fortunate to become really good friends with them. They invited me to stay with them in LA during Grammy Week. I think this was in 2014, might have been a little bit later. This was around the time they were building Gemini, and that was my first exposure to cryptocurrency at all. And I just had this fascination with frictionless value transfer, with banking the unbanked, all the kind of things that we love about Bitcoin and why we think it's so powerful and long-term, an incredible piece of technology. And fast forward to 2017, I started exploring what was then the ICO boom and looking at, on the financial side, I was trading inter-exchange arbitrage because that was fun. And on the, more on the music side, I was really exploring ways that you could, disintermediate the music business with this technology. And there were tons of projects that came up. I had this vision to throw a music festival and give fans ownership in the festival and give them the choice of the lineup. And that was kind of an initial concept that I was really excited about. Of course, a token that would perform such functionality would be a security. And so we ended up not doing that. But we threw a festival anyway with some really cool rewards that I worked with. I worked with Stellar Lumens and the Interstellar team there on building a mobile wallet and a reward product that we launched at this music festival with Zed, Big Sean, myself, and a bunch of others. And that was actually my first experiment with NFTs ever, where if you scan my QR code at the festival, if you found me at the festival, you actually got a limited edition Blau badge, all on the Stellar blockchain. And the fan response to that this was in 2018. The fan response to that was so huge. People were so excited about like the scavenger hunt to find Blau in the festival. And the 50 NFTs went in like 3 minutes probably, which is pretty crazy. People were swarming to scan the QR code on my phone. And that was the first time I realized that there's something really valuable in a digital asset that a musician can issue, whether it's in the form of loyalty or in the form of a song or whatever it might be. And that was kind of the next layer of my journey through crypto. From that experience, I was able to meet some really awesome people in the space, great fund managers, people like Fred Airzim, who founded Coinbase and Paradigm, and a bunch of really great mentors who, I've spoken to about, what does it mean to tokenize music? How do you do that in a non-securities way, in a non-security token way? And also, how do you execute that in a compliant securities consideration way? And so, forgive me, I've been on a
Fucking Blau. I don't give a shit if you've been on anything. You're a brilliant dude. Good job, man. Good job. Good job being in the entertainment industry, making music, getting creative. You got like that badass entrepreneur, just self-made hunger to you. I'm like stoked on that. I'm stoked on your mind. I'm going to follow the crap out of you, see what you're up to all the time. Not in like a stalker way, you know what I mean? Because but I feel like if you have to say that, you're already like a fucking weirdo. So, I mean, clearly I don't get a lot of human interaction. I'm having a goddamn digital screenshot conference. I mean, I have a cat. I can't get any less lonely, guys. Like, go fuck yourself. All right, we'll let him continue.
I just did an hour and a half podcast about NFTs. So all I've been doing all day is talking about NFTs, but I love it. So if my brain farts, I apologize. But yeah, so I'm excited about kind of two layers in how music can be shaped by NFTs. One,
Stay tuned, people. I know that he's kind of like rambling on right now, but he's about to say what he did. And then also, one thing is, he starts to talk about like this mind-blowing thing. Trading, stock market, all right? Wrap your minds around this. Having your fans and the people who are buying and purchasing your tokens, offering them like a share, like a stake, like a certain percentage amount of whatever it is like little shareholders. It's crazy.
On the collectible layer, purely as an art form, and the other as actually owning music rights, which would clearly be a security token. And I'm really excited about issuing compliant security tokens for song ownership. I'm equally as excited about issuing collectibles, which we just did with Nifty Gateway. And Cooper and I have talked about this extensively offline. His perspective is extremely informed, and he is so on top of everything that's happening in the space. So you definitely picked a great group to chat about this.
Cool. And Cooper, I kind of want to dive into you for a second. What motivated you to get into crypto, specifically in the music industry? Like why Audius? Why your path on commenting on the music industry, on doing.
Also, I promise you, I'm only eating this disgusting because we're doing a mukbang session. I'm a lady, okay? Newly single, and if you take me out to dinner, which is probably never gonna happen because I don't do those things. I promise I won't eat this gross in public. So I'll still eat this gross in public. I don't give a fuck.
This new wave of music royalties and whatnot. Tell me a little bit more.
Yes, I was in this class in college, and the professor introduced the idea of smart contracts. And at the time, we were studying royalty payments and black box royalties in particular. For context, in the music industry, there's very long delays between the time in which a song is streamed and when the artists actually get paid. And for me, hearing about a primitive to make payments in real time, do this automatically without middlemen and sort of just automate the whole process,
6 months later,
that just immediately clicked for me. I think that music is just one facet of where this technology can add a lot of value, and seeing sort of how much my friends who are musicians that are struggling to pursue a creative career, they need these tools to be able to live and sustain themselves off of creative passion. For me, it was a no-brainer to figure out how can I best understand this industry and then eventually put forward some projects and tools to allow them to create and monetize.
I guess this next one is for both of you, because obviously you guys are very deep in the music space, in the crypto space. Why are NFTs such a prime use case for the music industry? Like, what is it about them that gets you guys very excited and that actually has the potential to help many, many artists around the world? And we either with Justin, Cooper.
Just go back and forth. Yeah, Cooper and I have talked about this stuff a lot, and we share a very similar vision. So we'll probably both be adding to each other's comments as we go. But the main piece that I'm mostly excited about from a very macro scale is this idea of ascribing value to a digital creation that hasn't really been able to exist in the past. When you have an MP3 file or a JPEG or a movie file, that file is infinitely replicatable across all platforms without any permissions needed at this point in time in 2021. If you can assign any form of official nature to a media file and distribute that to those who gain a lot of emotional value out of consuming that digital media file, is that a new way to recapture value in a world where these media files are basically free and pervasive, yet there's all this uncaptured value that exists? So the most logical way to do that is by creating an identity for the original file that exists, right? An identity that can't be contested, that is immutable, and that may live on a distributed ledger. And so the natural solution is an NFT that lives on the blockchain. It could even be a fungible token too. If you issue, multiple, we in our case have issued multiple editions of NFTs, but a lot of this could be accomplished with fungible tokens as well, depending on the product. And I just got excited about this idea of letting the artists create their own market around their content instead of being dependent on, centralized distributors for.
God damn it, Bob. You just said it right there. This is letting artists create their entire entity, their presence, their market, their money in taking like their fucking careers in control for the first time, instead of just like waiting for here's Spotify like 6 months later. Like, oh, thank you for my breadcrumbs. Oh, sweet. 6 months later, it's like, sorry, We actually didn't have anything this time. Like, but trust us, right? So it's cool. No, you're able to take control out of the centralized, normal distribution that we have to stay in line with. I don't know why this is fucking brilliant. It's brilliant, man.
For, issuing that content where, the permissions can go anywhere and anyone can listen to it at any time. So yeah, I think that's kind of what got me quite excited about the idea of like issuing digital identity to digital media. And we've seen so many amazing artists that have been able to capture that value with People and RAC and all these amazing both musicians and visual artists that have been issuing NFTs.
Yeah, Cooper, I see you nodding your head a lot. I'd love to kind of hear your input.
Totally. So I think on my end, music is inherently a very emotional field of interest. Collecting music in particular is something that is very unique to other aspects in the world. So particularly for musicians, we see limited edition vinyls, we see merchandise, hat pins. I was very into the hat pin game in college for artists like Grizz and Lotus and all these jam bands.
He was the hat pin guy.
You see kind of the connection that can come from communities that share physical goods. And when you take that and you put it online, to Justin's point, you can finally ascribe value and scarcity and ownership to digital items. And so for me, I see this as no different from, the days of the music industry where someone would pay $20 for a CD to listen to one song. I think that these primitives can now.
By the way, I know about all the hat pins because there's like a fucked up time in my life where I went to like 30 Fish shows. So I'm just going to throw that out there. It's fine.
Now exist for the first time in history, thanks to NFTs and provable scarcity online.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, so like we've seen the art industry pick up crazy steam, and wow, you just submitted an amazing campaign last week. Sold 200K worth of NFTs within 9 minutes. Like that's crazy. And you integrated the audio side of it and the graphic JPEG traditional NFT side of it. Like, do you guys see the music industry? There you go.
We got these, and we got the physical waveform.
What the fuck is that?
Cool. So dope. And I'd love to jump into that in more in a second. But like, is the music industry the next phase for NFTs? Like, the art sector got more of the mainstream adoption and awareness for what these NFTs could be. Is the music industry next, or like what's next on the horizon?
I think both will develop in unison. I think music lagged the visual world for one kind of behavioral reason. Visual content can be consumed in a matter of seconds. Audio content must be consumed over a longer period of time. And so the general attention span of humans is such that, understanding a visual NFT and purchasing a visual NFT happens a little bit faster in the human mind than how we've been trained about music. And also because the idea of collecting art makes a little bit more sense based, on current behavioral human patterns than collecting music, right? Collecting music, you think of, a playlist on Spotify, whereas art collectors have been collecting art for a very long time, and it makes more sense.
The
idea of creating a collectible edition of a song is something that I've been excited about for a really long time, because as a song grows in popularity, as long as the artist, and there will be bad actors, right, who might double tokenize songs and might do all these things, and we can dive into that later. But as long as an artist makes a commitment to only make a certain number of limited editions of a digital copy of a song, it starts to follow the same primitive that we saw with, like Cooper mentioned, vinyl and CDs. There was a point in time in history when the internet didn't exist, and if the vinyl sold out in the record store, you'd have to borrow your friend's vinyl to listen to the songs.
What are you gonna do?
Right? So
scarcity. All right, we get that. We understand that, right? Where is he talking about the stock market? Let's find out.
It still takes them 6 months to pay me, so it's inevitably going to take me 6 months to pay those fans who have that ownership, right? But over time, I do.
Okay. Another really cool thing I want to point out about this whole situation is basically it doesn't have to be finished music, right? You don't even have to go through the whole entire process. Like back in the day, like I'm going to reference that class again. There was always like these offers that you'd see where you like let your super fans in and kind of show them what you're working on. I know that's like a Patreon thing too, okay? To be able to kind of be like, hey, come on in and welcome to the studio. And this is like some of the weird shit that just like never made it to market. Like those really abstract things or like those in the works projects. You can now fucking do something with them. You got that whole old shitty hard drive that's got like 2 terabytes of like what the fuck on it, but you have like a trillion super fans and you're like, I don't, what am I going to do with this? They want that. They want to see that. They want to see that you're a real person. They want to get to know you. They want that intimate relationship. All right. So take that garbage hard drive of yours. Just kidding. It's probably an awesome hard drive. I hate to say that shit. Take those ideas, take those scratch songs, take those unreleased things, those things that haven't been put on Spotify before. And you can freaking mint it, send it out, make an NFT with it, make a token with it. We're gonna listen to that. We're gonna listen to him say this right now, but that's super duper cool. Like, it's easier to do with visual stuff. Say if you have like a bunch of behind the scenes footage, is my best way to kind of to say this in the video creative world. But you have a bunch of behind the scenes footage, or maybe you're an artist and you have all these really weird progressions of like scratch drawings, or you have like your storyboard for like a really cool mini film or movie that you made, like anything digital. I'm like stuttering right now. Anything. I'm freaking stoked on life about this, guys. I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna need another wing nasty to this, even though I don't even want it. But I said we were mukbanging, but I'm a team player, so let's listen to this guy.
Excited about buying songs that they couldn't hear anywhere else and owning that content. And so you kind of have these 3 different layers of how I see music NFTs evolving. On the first hand, you have just a collectible edition of a song that's already out there or that's coming out soon. And that's really simple, right? We understand that from the art world because you have an original painting, and then you have lithographs, or you have an original photograph, and then you have prints, right? And it's no different. It's just an authenticated digital copy of the song that everyone else might be able to listen to. The next layer is exclusive content, where either the NFT unlocks the content in a decentralized media player, which is an interesting idea in and of itself, or the token itself represents a song that might be exclusive, that might never actually be released to the public. And that's where we see something really interesting, where, in my case, I have a lot of live edits that I play at my performances, and those live edits aren't out anywhere on the internet. You can't find them. You might be able to find them in a set.
DJs, that's what I'm talking about. I do believe that, like, what the hell is it? Richie Houghton. I seen it in Ableton. He's got like this plugin or this pack that you can download when you're like running your like live shows or doing your performance stuff. Like all push users and whatever else. You could like save all of those custom live DJ mixes, dude, and then like do something with it. Be like, oh, we all know that. It's like, oh my God, man, you remember when you played that set back in like 97? You remember you played that set back in like 2002? That night was on fire. Like, oh, do this now. Remember that? Now your future will be like, remember when you played that set back in 2024? I want that. I want that original set. That's the night that I made a baby. So now me and my woman, we made a baby because of your set on the dance floor, making beats, making music, making tunes. And you could just take that. That's a brilliant thing. Brilliant. Blah. I love you, man. Just listen on.
But imagine you're at one of my shows and you scan a QR code on the screen when I'm playing this unreleased song, and you can actually claim a token that represents this unreleased song that you witnessed in the moment. Maybe that doesn't cost you anything, but you did pay for the ticket to the show, and only you have that token and that ability to listen to this unreleased song. So I can see the exclusive content aspects of music. And
dude, the market possibilities are endless, just limitless. Like I said, so much beautiful marketing real estate right now. Fuck, just getting people out to your shows, getting people to your digital concerts, getting people exclusive offers to be able to Patreon support. It's like little fucking birdies and like, whoa, like going off. It's great.
Really evolving in interesting ways in the future.
Yeah.
The final layer is ownership, which gets really exciting and has securities implications, where a fan who, you can basically create an NFT that represents a song's identity and then wrap that in a DAO token that represents ownership in the royalties of that NFT and into perpetuity. So as an artist, I can choose to issue my fans 49% ownership.
There's a fucking DAO token? I'm like probably blowing out my audio right now. Christ, but there's a fucking, you wrap it in a DAO token? Just remember. All right, I'm assuming, I'm going to use my spidey senses here, just kind of go off the fact that he's talking about like the Dow Jones type of deal. And it's just like any, company when you go on like that free market tip, right? You have, it's like trading stocks, as I was rambling on about before. You can get people to invest into that piece and then have like share fucking holders in your artwork, in your music. It's crazy. Believe that? You believe that shit? Ah!
In a song's royalties based on a DAO token surrounding an NFT. That gets really crazy and interesting. It's definitely a security. But I do think that the regulatory environment will be friendly to that in the future as these things develop. Unfortunately, with that last component, there are still central points of failure for royalty distribution, right? Which is why what Cooper is doing at Audius is so important. We do have Spotify and all these other centralized distributors that do, like, if I were to pay my fans out who owned a piece of one of my songs, I'm still unfortunately dependent on that centralized point of failure where it still takes them 6 months to pay me. So it's inevitably going to take me 6 months to pay those fans who have that ownership, right? But over time, I do think like these things will meld, and we're looking at maybe the next decade of being probably the most significant revolutionary intersection between blockchain tech and music that has ever happened before.
All right, guys. What else are we talking about?
Flexible, modular, and how they price and consume content.
Yeah.
We could dive into that specifically, actually, Cooper, because you and I have had a conversation, and a lot of people are like, this is actually really important. So this is not NFT related. This is more streaming related, but it's all relevant. People pay $9.99 a month for Spotify, whatever it is today. I forget. If an artist set a certain price at a fractional cent of a song per stream, and you as a listener were listening to, let's say you listen to 1,000 songs a week, 2,000 songs a week, 3,000 songs a week, depending on what the artist prices that stream at, you actually couldn't conceivably spend more than $9.99 a month if you were directly paying the artist at a lower rate. So what I mean by that is, if Spotify pays me a fifth of a cent per stream, okay, a fifth of a cent per stream, but I want to charge my fans a third of a cent per stream, right? And let's say all other artists, let's assume this utopian world where all other artists charge a third of a cent per stream. It would actually be cheaper for you to load up a wallet and listen to all your favorite artists than the $9.99 a month Spotify charges you, because you physically couldn't listen to that much music in a month of time. Does that make sense? If you multiply the amount of times you listen to a song, it wouldn't ever end up at $9.99, and yet the artist would capture all the value if they set their prices fairly.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Basically, what I mean by this is Spotify is capturing, all of this value to run its company and platform.
Like Spotify's like shitting itself right now.
Shareholders, that is missing the boat for the artists. So, there are like interesting pricing mechanics that when you get into like a stream by stream price, situation that Audius is exploring and Cooper can speak more to, it actually is both value add and is a positive sum game for the listener and the artist, which is something,
Goddamn, Blau.
is a deeper conversation we don't need to dive into. But if you do the math, it ends up being a positive sum game.
Before we get too distracted into this, I could watch this shit all day. I'm about to link this guy's video in here. Now we know why it's super cool, and we also know how disgusting Hope is when she eats. We're just gonna I wanted to get this video out because I know this is like already a fleeting topic, but it's cool, it's crucial, it's important, and there's going to be a lot of cool things coming out in the entrepreneurial element, different ways to use this stuff. Anyways, I'm linking all of these awesome people and the resources that I learned a bunch of this stuff on tonight, and I just wanted to get this up, and I also wanted to entertain you guys, and I also didn't want to eat dinner alone. If you have any recommendations on what I should eat for the next show, some digital dinner dates, do some mukbanging. I can't get that term out of my fucking head. If this is entertaining and if you guys learned something, or if you just thought I was ridiculous enough to enjoy, then why don't you just give me a subscribe? I really appreciate it. This is Hope Taylor with Afterthought. Let's do this. Hope you guys fucking enjoy how weird I am. I'm really going all in today. Shit, does that mean I have to do the NFT in ASMR? I can do that. I feel like we didn't go all in on the mukbang before, but I'm gonna fucking do it right now. Goddamn right I am. Goddamn right. How dare he finds this when
that
he
NFT
requested
is
going
going
down
to
a
be
rabbit
something
hole.
coming out of a lot of people's mouths.
I'm not quite sure how you mukbang yet, but kind of have my own style to everything. Regular banging, regular YouTube videos. Let's do it. It's nasty when you see it. Oh, it's kind of wet. Yeah.